So he asked me, he says, before we go out to dinner, would you like a cocktail?
I had 1 glass of wine with dinner.
He made me a drink.
He said, oh, I've got something for that, and he gave me a pill. It was red wine, it was a pill.
He opened up a briefcase that was on his front seat, and it was filled with different assorted pills.
We just heard there from a few of the women who have accused Bill Cosby of drugging them for sex. His accusers had been met with a lot of skepticism when they told their stories, until now. A shocking court admission may lead to their vindication. According to unsealed court documents from 2005, Cosby admitted to getting Quaaludes to give to women with whom he wanted to have sex. Now, for months, Cosby has remained silent about the accusations, but now it would appear he has some big questions to answer. Joining us here on the legal desk, we're pleased to have legal analyst and defense attorney Michelle Suskauer, and Skyping in from Nantucket, Massachusetts, columnist for the Fiscal Times, Liz Peek. Our thanks to you both for joining us here on Newsmax Prime. Michelle, first to you with the legal intricacies of this. I understand this statement was part of a deposition and an ultimate settlement. So this admission cannot be used in current proceedings, or can it?
Well, you know, it's interesting because this was something that was just unsealed by a court, and now what this does is it's several different fold. What it does is it's really giving credibility to the women who were saying, look, this is someone who, by the way, so beloved by the entire country, by the world. This is actually something that he admitted to, and it really gives them credence to go forward in their individual lawsuits if they're able to.
Liz, in terms of the public perception, for all intents and purposes, is this the proverbial smoking gun for the accusers?
Well, I have to say, with so many women having come forward and said the same virtual thing over and over again in terms of how he tried to drug them and then rape them and so forth, I don't even know that you need a smoking gun. I think the question is how much of this actually is admissible. Is there a case and an accuser where the time is still, where they can still bring charges, because so much of it happened very long ago. But you know, the important thing here, I think, is this is kind of a tragedy, right? Because not only is Bill Cosby someone that we all really love to see, he also had an incredibly important message that he was willing to make to young black men about the culture that they lived in, the things that they were doing wrong in his view. And, you know, very few black leaders have been willing to talk truth to young men whose habits and lifestyle changes have caused a lot of problems for them and their families and for society. And Bill Cosby now is really not a voice, obviously, that's going to have any credibility or be listened to. And
now, of course, when we talk about generational behavior, sadly, another young man with some problems. We're going to switch gears to a new off-field controversy involving the quarterback from Florida State University. But let me warn you, the footage we're about to show you is a bit disturbing. Prosecutors released a video of freshman quarterback DeAndre Johnson punching a woman in the face at a bar. You'll see it here in just a second. Johnson and the woman are seen arguing before things get out of hand. He now faces misdemeanor battery charges. He's been suspended indefinitely from the team. Of course, this is not the first time a football player has had a run-in with authorities. Jameis Winston of Florida State and other prominent Seminoles have also been in trouble. But the question becomes, Michelle, first to you, is this a broader problem with college athletes and professional athletes than we may know?
Well, I think that this is not something new. This is something, especially now that we have the proliferation of video cameras everywhere and cell phone cameras. Things are being captured, but it's not new. There's violence that is being perpetrated by college athletes as well as professional athletes. You remember Ray Rice and what happened with the NFL and suspensions and then reversals. People are very, very sensitive, especially to domestic violence to women. And this is not going to be swept under the rug anymore, both with universities or with the NFL.
The video culture makes a change. Liz Peek, your take on what we're seeing. By the same token, should we not rush to stereotype student athletes or professional players who are good family men? We've got about 40 minutes. Or 40 seconds. Not 40 minutes. That's a whole show.
We shouldn't stereotype, but wouldn't it be great if one of these athletes who does something like this really gets into serious trouble? Because, look, for young black men, there are so few role models out there. And when some of these role models are videoed hitting women, it just sends such a terrible message. And look, it could happen in any community, but this is a community that does seem to be prone to domestic violence, and it has to stop. Somebody has to say, okay, you don't get to play football now or ever, because this is the behavior we can't condone. Unfortunately, the NFL hasn't done a very good job of that.
And we will keep our eyes on what happens with the NCAA in college football. Liz Peek, Michelle Suskauer, you have our thanks.